What's up, guys? Welcome to the live stream. If you want to, go ahead and settle in, chill out, make your comments. We're going to start the stream soon. New drones are being added to this stream, and we've also worked on fixing some audio, music in the background, and the drone noise during the showing of each drone. So we'll wait for some of you guys to settle in. If you're watching this later and it's not a live stream, you can fast forward 3 minutes to the starting point of the best of 2022 updated drones. So let's go, guys. Go ahead and settle in. We're going to get started.
Artlist.io.
We also have a DJI FPV drone giveaway. If you're a new subscriber, you are included in the giveaway in the next 100,000 subscribers. So be sure to subscribe on the channel and you will get a chance for that giveaway. We're going to show that giveaway coming up in just a couple minutes, and then we're going to get started with the live stream. I'd like to welcome everyone into the live stream. We have just a couple minutes to go now, so we're almost ready to start. Hopefully you guys have your coffee going and you are having a good morning. We are on West Coast time today. It's 10:30 a.m. 1 minute and 40 seconds to go.
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Going home with y'all.
All right, just 20 seconds to go now. We're going to go ahead and get started with that DJI giveaway first, and then we're going to hop right into today's live stream. And you guys, you can make comments on screen and it will show up in the live chat.
Artlist.io.
Here we go.
Hey guys, I'm Rebecca. You have a chance to win this DJI FPV drone, the case, and 2 batteries. We're gonna choose one of the next 100,000 subscribers to be our lucky winner. So please subscribe, good luck, and happy FPV.
All right, guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about some updated best of 2022 drones today. We're going to talk about the top 5 ones to get. We have a new number 1 on our list, and I put the number 1 on the last stream that we did kind of in honorable mention. We're calling it the People's Drone this time around because you know what? This channel is all about drones and FPV. So we do cinema style, we do FPV freestyle, and we do race drones. We also do micros, RC cars, all kinds of stuff on the channel. So if you'd like to see a lot of what's coming out and what's brand new, be sure to subscribe on the channel because all the companies send stuff to me because they want to see what we think about it and get an honest opinion on their product and then you guys can get the best of the best right here. We don't always have the best of the best on the channel. Sometimes we get some duds, we get some flops, but you know, we do have some solids here. So today we're talking about the analysis of each one, the public sentiment of each one that we've chosen today. We've tested each one. The sentiment on each of these products in this video is pretty high. We've got 5-star reviews on all these products. So they've been durability tested. We've tested them for tuning. The overall star rating is 5 stars. So if you guys also see any spammers show up in the chat today, be sure to click on that spammer and click spam or report, and it should immediately kick them out of the chat. We need to make Luis a moderator in the chat today. So welcome Luis to the live stream. And the top drones for 2022, the list has changed, and I wanted to update it because I felt like we needed a #1 FPV race drone, freestyle drone in the mix for this stream, and also just redo this entire stream because last time we did it, some of it was basically unwatchable because I had some audio that was kind of riding over top of my voice, and that's not going to happen this time. So let's be very, very aware of our audio levels this time around, and let's make sure that everything's perfect. So if you guys hear good audio in this stream, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the chat. Let me know what it sounds like. We are using new systems on board today, so new audio systems are in place. Now I want to go ahead and get started with number 5 on our list. And again, if you guys, before we get started, if you want to tip during this live stream, you can do that. Tips are available. I have a beer stein up at the very top on this side. That is my beer money right there. So if you guys want to hit me up with some beer money, I've got hopefully around a $40 to $50 target today, and that'd be awesome. So I wish there were more build kits readily available, says Blink Guitar 2. Yeah. There are not a lot of build kits available, and maybe that's something we should do on the channel. We should put together some type of build kit and put all the links in the list below, and that way you guys can go and do a build. Maybe I'll do a live build someday as well. That would be a lot of fun. We could also do a setup. We could do some radio setup tutorial right on the channel. That would be good for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys have some problems with say soldering up your receiver, getting receiver working with the radio, switches working, and sometimes just motors working. So we could help you out with that for the live stream as the live streams kind of get more organized in advance. So let's jump into number 5 on my list, and we've talked about this company on the channel tons of times. Darwin FPV is probably one of the most dominant budget bind and fly drones out there right now. You can get them from 7-inch, 6-inch, 5-inch, down to the little tiny 2-inch, the tiny ape, the baby ape. They have so many different models, but the one that I want to showcase today is the baby ape. And the baby ape's probably one of the best priced micro that you can get right now. So this guy right here is coming in on the Banggood website, $79.99. It has 5-star reviews, tons of reviews. So for $80, yeah, it's a really, really good deal. You can get it in black, purple, yellow. You can also get the Baby A Pro. The Pro is going to cost you $91.99, a little more expensive, but it also ships from China or the US. So guys that are worried about ordering from China, don't worry about it. Get it from the US warehouse. Banggood has US warehouses, which is super nice. T Hammer asked if the FAA required transponders on drones over 0.55 pounds now. Good question. Who knows? Don't worry about it. Just fly. Don't fly in a no-fly zone, obviously. Apex 6 sounds good. I'm a big proponent of DJI. I have not tested the new Fat Shark Walk Snail HD system, but hopefully Fat Shark's listening. They'll send us a system to test, because I like to put it straight up against DJI. so far DJI has been doing me well, so no complaints there. But let's jump into some Tiny Ape footage so you guys can see just what the Tiny Ape footage looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and close out the browser window. We'll open up that baby ape footage here for you. And I was just flying in the backyard during this test. We had Insta360 Go 2 on board, and this is one of those quads that you can fly in a small space, but it really feels like you're flying a 5-inch. And I say that because of the speed of it, and the performance weight to power ratio. It's really good. It has a lot of boost, and this thing's flying on at least on 2 to 3S. I just want to double check on that. Yeah, 2 to 3S. My memory serves me correctly. So 2 to 3S is hopping on the Baby 8 Pro, and the Baby 8 can also fly on 2 to 3S. So this is an $80 intro into the hobby of FPV, and it's one of my top picks in 2022 because the cheap parts availability, you can build these up from the frame up. You can get the frames super cheap. And I did have a bent prop in this video recording, and it actually handled it pretty well. And check out this little dive. It will dive all day, no problem. This is also a great acro trainer. We talk about this a lot on the channel. When you're first learning to fly acro, it's super important to have something that's going to be a little bit durable for you. If you smack into the ground with a 5-inch, there can be a lot more consequences than flying something like this. And you could really get crazy with your speed with these little Tiny Apes and Baby Ape. Super, super fun. Just a backyard ripper. We talked about this before on the channel. A ton of fun. So that is the Tiny Ape or the Baby Ape, and that's my number 5 in my list. See if you guys have any questions about the Baby Ape or the Tiny Ape. No, you don't have to register that one with the FAA. That one is totally up to you to fly wherever. It's classified as a toy. Thanks, T Hammer. Appreciate that. That's our backyard. So that's absolutely one of the best budget ones out there right now, and the analysis on the parts of that are good, and I feel like they're a little bit better than Eachine. They're also kind of taking over the budget drone #1 choice over top of Eachine. I think Eachine has been ruling it the last few years, but when Darwin came out, it's almost like, is Darwin Eachine rebranding themselves? What do you guys think? T Hammer, you give me $50. I'm doing the stream. That's going to be my pick for a budget drone, and the sentiment on that's high. The community really likes Darwin FPV, so you're safe with that one. So I know money's tight right now. Manufacturing's down. There's a huge drop in the stock market, a recession looming, and you're not going to be spending a whole bunch of money on toys. So when you do go out and buy a toy, I want on this channel that you buy the right one. And that's what all this analysis, sentiment, testing, durability, tuning testing, and the overall ratings come in to play. So very important that you get the right one. And if I tell you to get one and you didn't like it, that's on me in a lot of ways, because you can call me out publicly, right? So I won't tell you guys to get something that's not really good, in an unbiased opinion, all based on testing. So my number 4 in my list, let's go ahead and do that. Let's hop over to the browser right here and let me show you my number 4. It is by one of my all-time favorites, and we're just going to go hop right over to it. And my number 4 is the Geprc Cinelog 35. Now, this drone will carry a GoPro. You can do amazing cine with it. I called it the Cine God because it has really smooth flying characteristics, inverted motors, ultra durable frame, It has replaceable side panels here for the prop guards. Really nice, streamlined, smooth props. Nice mid-size motors for longer flight times. You're going to be able to get 8 to 10 minutes out of a flight. And you can also mount various different cameras on here. So decased cameras. You can put a full-size GoPro, Insta360 You can run it analog or HD. And it also has one of the best and most simplest carbon fiber frames. This one has a unibody. It's 3K. It's beveled on the edge. It's even labeled in the back, so cinelog 35 HD. And I think all the frames actually said HD, even though you're buying an analog version here. But the base price on this one is $305 right now, and you get the 4 or the 6S version. And it looks like they only have FR Sky or XSR receivers available. So that one ships from China, but it will get to you eventually. If you want to do cinema, mild freestyle. If you want to do mild freestyle, you can do it with this quad. The range, it has a 600 milliwatt video transmitter on board. So this quad could really go out there 2 to 3 miles, depending on the battery, of course. And you want to have that analog VTX cranked all the way up to 600. So, I mean, 600 would go out 5 miles, but you're really limited to your battery. If you can only fly, say, 8 to 10 minutes or 12 minutes max, you can fly 6 minutes out, 6 minutes back. So, normally I turn around when I see about the halfway point on my battery, and I start coming back. Because you don't want to run out of battery on the way home and then drop to the forest. It's never fun to go looking for a drone in the forest. You can also put trackers on your drone. A lot of times what I do is I put my name and phone number on my drone, and I have gotten them back doing that. It's a good idea to do that. If you lose a drone, say somewhere in a neighborhood. I mean, I lost one in somebody's backyard before 10 years ago, and he was a retired deputy sheriff. And he said, "Hey, I found your toy helicopter in my backyard." It went crazy on a flight, and or I lost a prop and it just went down. So it happens. Write your name and number on them. So the Geprc Cinelog 35, freaking awesome. Absolutely one of the best deals for a Cinewoop that will carry a GoPro. If you want to get something smaller, get the 25 version. The 2.5 version is mostly for decased. I wouldn't necessarily run something like a GoPro on this. This shows the Geprc decased Hero 8 on board. You can get ND16 filters for it, and you'll get just as good a video with this in a smaller format as you will like a full-size GoPro. So the decased, if you don't know about them, they're around 35 grams, so they're super ultra light. And that's my number 4 on the list. What's up, guys? Welcome into the live stream. If you're just getting in here, welcome, and please do subscribe on the channel. Hit the notification bell for when new videos come out. What's up, Johnny D? You guys can also check us out on Instagram, TikTok. We're also on Discord. Look up Drone Camps RC in the Discord chat. Super, super fun room. Guys are in there. Johnny D is in there every single day. He is one of our regulars. Luis, we need to have you come back into the Discord chat. I'm glad you're here for the live stream today. Luis is one of our longtime administrators for our live chat. I've often said Luis should start his own channel. He has a lot of drone knowledge to bring to the community. I'm sure he helps a lot of people out. So if you have any questions about the first 2 that we talked about, we're going to go ahead and move on. If you're looking for a Cinewoop, grab the Cinelog series. Those are the best ones right now. Geprc is smashing it with their Cinewoops. They're the best out there, and they're tuned really, really well. Really, really well. Do I find the ducted Cinewoops prohibitively loud? Well, prohibitive is kind of a strong word. I would say no, because I fly in a lot of places where there's not crowds of people. So I tend to, when I go out to fly, I look for a place where there's not a lot of people around. Go back and watch all my flight tests, and you'll see I don't fly around a lot of people, dogs or animals. But I do find that they are loud. They're about 3 times as loud as something like the cinelog series. That's why I'm so bullish on the cinelog series, because they have thinner ducts and they have way less noise. They sound completely different than, say, any of the 3-inch deep ducted cinewhoops do. And in case in point, there is the Geprc crown. So if you're looking for a deep ducted one, the Geprc crown, that's also the one to go for, and that one's $400 for the DJI version. And you're gonna have quite a louder quad, but maybe more durable. I mean, the thing about these deep ducted cinewhoops is the fact that these ducts can break, but I'm not sure what you'd have to do to break these. You would really have to be doing something crazy to break these. And these are replaceable. And these are individually replaceable. Versus the cinelog series have dual ducts. And when I say dual, I mean double-sided ducts. So it's one duct, it's one piece on each side. And I like that a lot. Some of the other cinewhoops I've seen recently, like the new DJI one that might come out. DJI is thinking about releasing a cinewhoop, and they have a whole bottom plate that has everything all in one piece. So if you broke one duct, you have to replace the whole thing. I think they need to rethink the way they have that designed. Seriously.
Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually keep my drones away from people when I'm flying. So cool. Luis is logging into the Discord. You guys can check us out on Discord. Search Drone Camps RC to find us on Discord. So we're going to move on now to my number 3. And my number 3 is awesome. It's the best DJI Mini 3 alternative that we've had this year. And we talked about DJI Mini 3 alternatives for quite some time. It's a C-Fly Faith 2S version with GPS on board. I'm super bullish on this one. The sentiment is super high. All the analysis of all the parts, the controller, the bag, the range, 4-kilometer range, and it's been tested. 4K video, 3-axis gimbal, GPS return to home, brushless motors, and it has really nice props on this one. They almost remind me of DJI props. They're super thin and they have a lot of flex to the tip. We talked about that before. As far as a little kind of compact foldable filming drone, you need to have a nice prop on it. If the props are too stiff, it shows up in the video. And a too stiff prop basically equals a harder flying edge for the flight controller to smooth out, and it has more vibration in the frame. So the more rigid the prop, sometimes with cinema drones, it causes problems. So years ago, people used to use carbon fiber props on larger aircraft because when you have something as heavy as an octocopter, you don't want a lot of vibration. And even though they use carbon props in the large ones, you still have a bit of flex in those with that kind of weight. So carbon fiber props for small drones are kind of a thing of the past. We used to see them all over Banggood's website. They had tons of carbon fiber props, but now everyone uses plastic, and it's performing great. So let's go ahead and show you some video here of the C-Fly Faith 2. This drone right here is so smooth. So smooth. It looks like it's sitting on a security cam. Right here, it's sitting on a security pole. Right here, it's sitting about 3 feet off the ground, and I just took off. That's amazing. This drone comes in at around $300, a little over $300 on the Banggood website, $359, ready to fly with the case. You can get it with, I believe, 2 batteries and 3 battery combos. and a 1 battery combo. I suggest going to at least get 2 batteries for this drone. But look at this. You see how smooth that is? That's ridiculous. It looks like it's sitting on top of a pole, like a security camera on a pole. This is like tripod mode. Look at how solid that is. Under $500, like under $400 for this drone. It's amazing. T Hammer said he loves his Faith 2. If you love your Faith 2, you will absolutely adore the 2S. I mean, look at that. Could you get any more solid? It doesn't even look like it's flying. And that's a cool thing about a really nicely tuned drone. If you have a really nicely tuned drone, you almost forget that it's an aircraft. And we talked about that in yesterday's video, where you're watching a drone video and it's so smooth, you forget it's a drone. And I think this one even pans kind of nice. It doesn't have a lot of frame stutter. And then the live stream, the video stream may be stuttering a little bit. I'm not sure what the playback's like for you guys. On my side, it's perfect. Hopefully it's perfect on your side. But super smooth. Come on. I'm super bullish on the Faith 2S. And the community is too. Right now, the sentiment is super high on this drone. We have 5-star reviews from everyone that got it so far. And I'm continuing to fly this one. I need to do like a total breakdown review of the 2S for you on the channel so that you can really see how to get it started, how to calibrate the compass, and just some general tips on where to fly as a beginner. There's a lot to flying drones, and you really shouldn't just take off in your neighborhood and start flying around and buzzing your neighbors' backyards. People get a little weird about that. But hopefully you're enjoying this video, and the background music's not too loud. You might not hear any background music in this stream. And we also made sure that we cut out all the drone noise from the video. Last video we had some problems, some audio, and the video noise was over top of my voiceover, and you couldn't hear what I was saying. So hopefully everybody's good today. Yeah, that's one of our local AMA fields. This is called Barnstormers, and it's just outside Portland, Oregon. It looks like a little miniature airport, doesn't it? It's not actually a place where full-size aircraft can land, and they're not allowed to land there. It's strictly for RC aircraft, which is super fun. You can join the club for about $100 a year. You have to be voted in. And you know, most times people are voted in. It's not a big deal to be voted in.
Music licensing reimagined.
And there was a little bit of a strange adjustment there for the gimbal. You can recalibrate the gimbals as well. If you get a horizon that's on a tilt, you can recalibrate it. But this horizon's locked in. Looking super nice. I would buy this any day in comparison to paying $800 for a Mini 3. I'd like to have a Mini 3, but sunny side filters fit on the camera too. That's a good tip. Thank you, T Hammer. So the filters are super important. It will also make your video look even better. It does two things for your drone video. It will stabilize some of the jitter, make things smoother, and it will also I appreciate that, Luis. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the tip. It will also make your cloud definition a lot better. So it'll bring in depth of field as well. So depth of field, cloud definition, and it'll smooth out the jello. Make your video even look more stable. Thank you for the tip, Luis. That's awesome. Sunny Life filters. Okay, so people that are watching this live stream later, if you already have, all right, awesome. Heck yeah. So that's good to know. We'll put that information out there in the community. And now we're going to move on to my number two pick. Number two coming up. We're moving right along today. So we can get into some other things here in this live stream too. So we'll have some fun. If you have any questions about any type of drones that we talked about so far, please just put it in the live chat. If you have questions about other drones that maybe you're building or a tech question, put it right there in the chat. I'll try to answer it, or the community. And if you want to tip me and ask a question, I will absolutely go back and research it if I have to answer your question. So tip questions are welcome. And number 4, let's go ahead and drop out of that video the C-Fly Faith 2S. Love that drone. It's another top pick. Wait a minute, number 4. I'm on number 2, guys. We're on number 2 out of 5. Number 2 out of 5 is one of my all-time favorites. If I was going to go on a trip, this is the one I would take. The iFlight Chimera 7. Now, this is the 7-inch FPV long-range drone. It is meant to go out there miles and miles. You can put a 4S battery on it. You can fly a 6S on it. As long as you have the 6S version, you can fly either batteries. I've put a 4S 5000 pack on a drone like this and flown for 25 minutes. So you can fly 4S on a 6S machine with lower kV motors. These kV motors are rated at 1300 kV, but it's $435 without the receiver. With a Crossfire Nano, it's going to get you up to 464. And this is the original Chimera 7 right here, long range, 320 millimeter frame, F7 flight controller. And this quad could, technically it could fly out 8 to 10 miles. I mean, it can go way out there. But you have a 25-minute flight time. So this quad also has a top speed of around, oh my gosh, probably 95 miles an hour. So it can really get down the road. Really fast drone. And the more speed, if you want more speed on a drone, you tilt the camera up vertically more. And the higher up you tilt your camera, the faster you're going to fly. So a lot of FPV race guys have about a 30% tilt in their camera because they want to go as fast as they can on the course. Nice. No one FPV said he just built one of those. That's awesome. Chimera 7 Pro. Heck yeah. And if you're just joining us, please do subscribe on the channel because we have tons of reviews, tutorials, and new testing coming out for all the latest drones. We even do RC cars and other tech stuff on the channel. Super fun. All right, we got one naughty person in there in the chat. So I want to make sure we ban that person. Go ahead and ban that person, you guys. It took them a while to show up today, but there they are. Nobody cares about your spam.
Music licensing reimagined.
And just because those guys are here right now, we're just going to go ahead and hide the chat box so he can't even get his stuff on the screen. They like to hop in here and try to promote their junky websites. Why? Because we have a community. So they're trying to advertise to you guys. Luis, go ahead and take care of that spammer for us. So this drone, if I was going to go on a trip and I was on an FPV trip with the boys, this is the drone that I would take. If I only had one drone, it'd be this one. Because we can do some mountain surfing with this one. We can fly down canyons and really, really get in there. So let's go ahead and check out some of the footage. The Chimera 7, just one of my favorites. And I have it sitting right here next to me. So you can see these motors. They're beautiful anodized blue aluminum. I have a full-size air module on mine. Mine's an HD version. So it has 2 antennas off the back. Unlike the Cadex Vista version, only has 1 antenna. So if you really want to fly true long range, get the one with 2 antennas. It's going to give you better video signal back to your goggles. I've got an Immortal T back here. This is running TBS Crossfire, GPS. I have the full-size original HD camera on the front right here. Yeah, this drone is what's up. If you want a true long-range drone that you really honestly, I don't know if you could build it this good yourself. If I did a build this good, I would be proud of it. I'd be super proud of it. It's got my GoPro mount up in the very front, so I can carry a GoPro. If I was going to try to fly and film long range, I'd probably do a decased camera, so I don't have the extra weight of a GoPro on there for flying out those miles and miles. And one of the rules of flying long range, guys, as you fly out, you fly higher and higher. So when you get to your 400-foot limit, you might have to turn around and come back. And the Earth curves as you fly along. So miles and miles out, you may lose signal if you go lower and lower. And a lot of people trust Crossfire. It has great penetration, but I have lost signal. And the cool thing about flying GPS, if you're flying any type of range flying, just say you're flying down a canyon and there's big rock walls on both sides, but you're flying down a stream. The last thing you want it to do is lose signal from your Crossfire and drop in the water. All these drones are set to drop in the water, right? So what's up, frequent flyer? Welcome. If they drop to the water, then your drone is toast. So that's not good. The nice thing about flying range with GPS is when you lose signal, GPS takes over. And what happens when GPS takes over? It auto levels. So it brings the nose up and it comes to a stop, and then it's going to start to rise to its specified height and return to home. So that's a really nice safeguard if you're going to fly long range or you're going to fly in situations where you absolutely don't want to drop to the ground. I've been in between piles of trees like you see here. We have a lot of trees in Oregon, and I've lost signal in going down through a bunch of trees. And with this, actually the same drone, it leveled out and started to rise, but right after you lose signal, sometimes the signal comes back. So you go right back into acro. So it's crazy. You'll be flying along and you'll see it go boop, boop, because it's losing signal and GPS is taking over. Otherwise, if you went boop, it would start to fall without GPS. So super important. Super important. There goes another spammer in the chat. But this will really save your quad. I mean, especially if you paid $500 for something like this. If you crash it with your GoPro on it, you're going to go hiking and look for it. And it does happen. But this is not one to fly over neighborhoods or where there's a lot of people around either, because this one is well over the 250 gram mark, and if it did fail safe and fall on somebody, it really hurt somebody. So this is a big drone. You want to treat this one with respect when you fly it. And 7-inch props will cut you, so be super careful. The Yagi Uda antennas, are those for the DJI drones? I haven't flown anything else but the stock antennas on here from iFlight. Left-hand circular polarized if you're buying DJI antennas. Don't buy right-hand circular polarized. Thanks for the block, Johnny. Appreciate that. I need to make sure that Johnny DRC is an admin, because he's one of our regulars on the channel. Appreciate you, Johnny. Johnny has quite a collection as well. He's been sharing some of his build with us in Discord, some of his drones. And a lot of us don't fly just drones. We also fly airplanes, FPV planes. If you're brand new to FPV, an airplane with FPV on it is some of the most fun you can have. It's really a lot of fun. You should really try to get into that. Start out with a traditional airplane tail setup, move into a wing later. The wings are harder to set up, and elevons are much harder to program because you're doing some mixing in your radio. With the traditional tail, you don't have to. The ones that are set up just like this, they're the same setup as an FPV race quad, AETR. I think, Luis, I'd have to, if I want to make an admin, I'd have to go to my YouTube channel and just get into the chat. But the Chimera 7, the Pro version as well, getting a little bit less flight time than the original one. They have a little bit bigger motors, so. All right, so let me make Johnny. I'm gonna add Johnny as a moderator, and I'm gonna add Luis as a moderator. Okay, you guys are both moderators now. Okay, so you see the spammers come back. Use your ban hammer. This is a community. Appreciate that. Yeah, cars. Frequent Flyer says cars with FPV, absolutely all day. I love that. We just did a review a while back. If you're looking for an RC car with a camera on it, you could get the Real Racer. That was a really good project. It just kind of came from left field, and they had the nicest advertising, a really nice app, and it was a Wi-Fi stream to a phone inside goggles. But usually I hate those kind of setups, but this was actually really nice. I have the goggles sitting over here, actually. Kubotix was the name of the company. And phone goes right in here. And generally, I can't stand those type of setups. I think they're cheesy. But the real-time video was really good, and it looked better than analog. So nice stream and better than analog. That's great for an RC FPV car. Because, you know, 25 milliwatt is generally what comes on these RC cars, and analog 25 milliwatt doesn't go that far. It doesn't look super great. Usually the cameras that come on the ready to drive RC cars are not super nice, but this one was. It's 150 bucks. The Real Racer FPV car. All right, so now we're going to go to my number one. My number one in my list, my newly updated number one in this list, and we moved the DJI Mini 3 to honorable mention in this video, the People's Drone. So now let's pull up the browser here, and let's get into it. My number one.
Music licensing reimagined.
My number one pick for June 2022 is the iFlight Nazgul 5 V2. It's been updated with the Blitz F7 flight controller. So this is kind of a bare bones Nazgul 5. It's not the Evoke version. It doesn't have the fancy LEDs down the side. It doesn't have the side plates. It's a bare bones FPV racing or freestyle drone that I guess in a way has come out right now for you guys, because a lot of people were complaining about the $300 price point for a bind and fly, and that's kind of what's happened since the pandemic. Everything has gone up, inflation on everything. Even eggs are more expensive, so you can imagine what a drone expense would cost. So more expensive drones, but they're trying to get the price back down to that like 2019 level. At $244, they've discounted it like $10 right now. It's a much better deal than $300 and some after shipping for some of these drones. So we have the F722 flight controller. We have full OSD. The Blitz is flying super smooth, and the motors on here are a classic 2207 1800 kV motor. So they're higher end of the 6S motors. You can also get a 4S version of this quad, and I don't believe the 4S version was any cheaper. So in my opinion, I'd get the 6S version. It has a burst of about 50 amps on the 45 amp ESCs that are included. They're just below the flight controller.
Music licensing reimagined.
And my favorite part about this whole quad is the 800 milliwatt VTX on here. The video transmitter's pumping 800 if you want to on this quad, so that's huge. If you're flying FPV freestyle and you're gonna dip behind some trees or you're gonna go behind your house, you want to definitely have 800 milliwatt pumping. If you have 800 milliwatt pumping, you're less likely to lose video, especially on this analog rig. Analog doesn't have quite as good penetration as DJI HD does, and DJI HD you can crank it up to 700. You can also do a hack that'll mod it and make it go to a 1 watt, which is pretty toasty on those hot days. I appreciate you guys controlling the chat there for me. Thanks, guys. Got that spammer. Sniper. That's what we are. We're spam snipers. Boom. Gotcha. Good job. That's right. Good job, said Scott. So the Nazgul 5 right now, if you're brand new, you're getting into FPV, $244 is one of the best deals out there. You know, you can look at something like the iFlight Nazgul 5 V2 prior version. It has a little more fancy TPU upgrades on it, and it's 240 millimeter frame. It's a different frame than the other iFlight Nazgul 5. I'll just double check on that. The XL5 is the one that's on the cheaper version. So a little bit different frame. You don't get the neon on there, but it's cheaper. And right now that's what the people want. They want cheap. Darwin FPV, that's why they're killing it. Wow. F7 stack and an air unit for 300 bucks. That's a pretty good deal. So please do subscribe if you're just joining us on the channel, or you're just checking out the stream after we did it. Make sure you subscribe, see all the latest drones coming out. All the manufacturers send us the latest drones for review. And you get to see all kinds of cool stuff here on the channel. RC airplanes. We don't just do drones. We do RC airplanes, RC cars, sometimes even electric skateboards. It's been a while since I did one of those. I got clotheslined by some homeless folks hanging down by the river a couple years ago, and I haven't been on them really since, but maybe I'll get back to it. Right now I'm just into traditional skating on my longboards, something that's not going to do 30 miles an hour. But yeah, guys, we can jump into some video. Let's just jump into some video. I have a nice video here for you, and we actually flew this one yesterday, and this is the iFlight Nazgul 5 V2 with the Blitz flight controller. So this is my Insta360 1R RS version with a 1-inch lens mod on there. It's a wide angle lens, and I have the vivid setting on this camera, so the greens look super green. And somebody was asking me yesterday, like, the difference between like a cinelog and an FPV racing or freestyle drone. It's kind of like the difference between like a golf cart and a Lambo. So this would be like a Lambo, an affordable Lambo. This is the People's FPV freestyle drone right now. And if you want something a little nicer, you can go with the Geprc Mark V. That's a super nice choice and better in my opinion, but it's going to be more expensive. The Geprc Mark V, I just want to check price on that one right now. That one might be sold out. Stock is really low on a lot of parts, and availability, yeah, it looks like that one's sold out, but you can get the frame still. The frame's $56. And they've been making the Mark series for a long time, probably about 5 years running, Geprc. And if you don't know, Geprc is one of the companies that first created kits for X-frames way back in 2013. They had the Chimp series, and a bunch of different kits you could get. And then iFlight came in right behind them and started making a ton of frames. They started out with kind of low-grade carbon fiber. I used to get splinters in my fingers all the time doing builds with their frames. And eventually they started really getting some nice carbon fiber frames. Nicely polished and coated. And no more splinters. Man, it sucks trying to get a carbon fiber splinter out of your thumb. I'm sure some of you guys that do builds have done it, or after a crash you're taking things apart. Be super careful. Keep a needle handy and a lighter. Why do I have the XXX people trying to get in on this chat? What is the deal?
Music licensing reimagined.
Ignore those guys. We're just going to move that off the screen. So hopefully you're enjoying this flight footage. This quad's super smooth. The all the analysis on all the parts and everything, really nice build. And I think this drone, again, like if you were to build one from scratch, you'd be lucky if it looked as good as this by the time you're done. This would be something a more advanced builder would do. I'm serious about that. Or even myself. So I was looking for the Geprc Mark V, but it looks like it is definitely out of stock. Another nice choice, if you want, is the Geprc Smart 35. That is a smaller 3.5 inch. Those were pretty hot last year. The 3.5 inch series came out and everybody in the dog was making a 3.5. It seemed to be a short trend, but it was a fun trend. And then everybody started making 4 inch. So it's funny how the industry moves along and things change. They should have put my review on the page. I don't know why they didn't. My rep sometimes just totally misses putting my reviews on their pages. It's very helpful. But a nice frame on the bottom, replaceable struts. It looks like a unibody though. 140 grams. So these were hot because they fly very close to a 4 inch, but they're under 250 grams with HD or without. And you know, we could talk about my model, my honorable mention drone, and that's this guy, the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Any of you guys have that yet? Let me know in chat if you have that. This drone, I really want it, and I don't know why I've held off buying it. I just want to be able to walk into the store and buy it, and then you might have to turn up your, Anthony, if you can't hear me, you might have to turn up your stream, or turn up your computer volume. You should be able to hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me.
Music licensing reimagined.
Nice. You guys are cracking me up in the chat. It's Friday, you guys. Come on, we gotta get it going. The weekend is here. We gotta do something fun on the weekend. What are you guys gonna do this weekend? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fly. Oakland, California. That would be a tough spot. You have to drive quite a while to find a field there. And I'm kind of old school. I'm an old school RC guy, so I mean, I do a trip and I'm looking out the window. You know, if someone else is driving, I'm checking out the fields. Like I'll see a huge field and it's like, ooh. I was always looking most of my life for big fields to fly RC airplanes in. So we would, I can turn up the volume just a little bit. So I would look for these fields, and sometimes we would stop and fly and then take off real quick. We call that a fly and drive. You try to fly real quick before the farmer comes over and either tries to shoot you or tells you to get the hell out of there. We had one farmer catch us one day. We were flying gliders, and me and 3 of my friends, we had 4 planes up, and this guy comes pulling up in this big pickup truck. He hops out. He's an older guy, and he comes walking up, and he said, "What are you guys doing?" We said, "Just flying our RC airplanes." He says, "You know, this is private property, and you know, we just played stupid and said, oh, sorry about that. We'll just land real quick and we'll get on the road. Sorry about that, sir." And I always be really apologetic, be really nice, smile. You know, don't be like, "Oh man, screw you," because farmers don't play. If you're from a small town, you're near farmers, you know. So he got chatting with us, and his granddaughter and his grandson hopped out of the truck, and they came running over, and they just wanted to see the planes. Because come to find out, their granddad was a veteran jet pilot. So from the 1960s, he used to fly F-16s or fighter jets. So super cool. He's a huge fan of RC, and he was just kind of trying to mess with us a little bit. But he was cool. He let us fly a few more packs, and then we just got in the car and left. But a sailplane's nice because you can, if you have a little bit of grass, a little bit, even high grass, if you have like 2 feet of grass, you can kind of belly land in it, and it won't hurt the plane. You don't need a runway for gliders. And even an RC airplane, if you take the landing gear off, you can land anywhere pretty much, unless it's rocks. Oh man, that sucks. T-Hammer, you got your field closed. And again, if you buy something like the DJI Mini 3, I got to give you some advice about flying that one. This one does have the no-fly zones on there. You can only fly at the places that the DJI map allows you to fly it. That's a drawback of this type of drone versus something like the FPV race drones, where you can fly them anywhere. There's no fly zones on them, no tracking transponders, no remote ID. And remote ID is already implemented into the DJI system, by the way. So those drones have had remote ID on them for actually a couple years, and they might be the ones that first implemented that. And you can switch it on or off. Actually, currently, you can switch it on or off, which is nice. But all your data is still being logged and sent back to China. So if you're paranoid about that, don't fly a DJI. Fly an FPV race drone, because those are not tracked. Here comes that stupid spammer again. Go ahead and ban them. But this is the people's drone choice and the honorable mention in this video. The DJI Mini 3, over a 30-minute flight time. 34-minute flight time. It has a Li-ion battery in it. You can get it with the RC-N1 remote or not. If you already have one, another one, you can bind it up to it. It has true 4K HDR video as well, which I love. Maximum speed, 16 meters per second in sport mode. I would say that's about 40 miles an hour. Somebody do the math on that. And the max flight ceiling is 4,000 meters. You can also get 2 different types of batteries. You can get the Intelligent Battery Plus or the Intelligent Flight Battery. Now, the more expensive battery should get you around a 45-minute flight time with this. And my question is, will it still be under 250 grams with that plus battery? That's a good question. I'd like to get one of those and test it. Yeah, T-Hammer, sometimes you get lucky. If you're in Oregon, most of the time, people are friendly out here. I had one guy ride up on his Columbine one time, and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm flying my RC airplane." He says, well, I'm a farmer. I was like, you know, that big tractor gave me an idea you were a farmer, but you know, not to be a smart ass, I said, yes sir, yes sir, I'll move my car right now. And I was actually blocking the way into his farm because he was needing to get his straw. Whoops, stupid Prius in the way. Those hippies. So I moved, and I put my tail between my legs, and I just move on. That's what you should do if you encounter someone who's angry. If you're flying a drone, my best advice to you, if someone comes up and they're angry, even if it's kind of a Karen and she seems to be getting kind of crazy, she'll be like, hey, okay, all right, I'm going to go find another spot. Obviously bothering you, didn't mean to bother you. I'm just trying to have a good day. Right now, Jesus is King asked, what is my pick of budget radio for tiny whoops and versatility and price point? If you want the cheapest radio, probably one of the best deals right now is the T-Lite. And I'll show it to you here on the screen if they still have them in stock. Oh, it's $15. There you go. That's with the silicone cover. So they're out of stock of the T-Lite. That was priced down to about $59, I believe. So if you want to be able to find multiple models, the other one is the Radiomaster TX12. I think that's a solid pick. That one's $113. It's kind of a mid-size radio. It's packable, much easier than my full-size TX16S. That's my number one pick right now. That's the best radio. And it looks like I need to add a link down there for the Zorro 4-in-1 as well. The Zorro 4-in-1 is my pick for portable radio. So that one's a $94.99 right now. And this one's super compact. It's a game style controller. You can also put TBS Crossfire Nano on there. So if you want to do that, it's around $186. But just get the JP 4-in-1 version. Don't get the CC2500 version. That one only has about 15 different models, receivers that you can bind up to. The JP 4-in-1, $113, and that one binds up to about 100 different style receivers, all the way down to like the Bang Yang toy drones. Hubsan, this thing will bind to anything. And that's the biggest appeal of 4-in-1. And 4-in-1 just means that it has multi-protocol. Protocol is what each receiver runs on it. So each receiver out on the internet might be different. Futaba, Spectrum, Crossfire, tons of different versions. Luis, don't worry, bro. Jesus King also asked, what's the best FR Sky D8 Tiny Whoop? D8 Tiny Whoop. My best choice right now for a D8 Tiny Whoop, if you want the cheapest one out there, would be, well, maybe not the cheapest. They're kind of two choices. You could get the Tiny Hawk 3, $149, or you can pay $105 and get the Mobula 6. The Mob 6, big crowd favorite, 4.9 stars. Sentiment super high on that, community approved. Everyone likes this happy model Mobula 6. So if you want to run something with D8, get this one. It has a built-in SPI receiver. And impressive from all the different reviewers. Love it. 1S 300 milliamp battery on there should get you 3 to 5 minutes if you're cruising. But a lot of people really like this drone, so I would go with one of these. It has great little ducts, prop guards, and a crazy BF or flight controller. and it has a Runcam Nano 3 camera on board. So it's one of the tiniest Runcam cameras that you can get, and it really looks good. Makes a huge difference. This camera on this drone is better than the Tiny Hawk 2 1 and 2 cameras. The Tiny Hawk 3 actually had an upgraded camera because we complained about that, and they ended up upgrading the camera. So they switched over to the Runcam Nano 4 for the Tiny Hawk 3. But still, that one's $149 versus $50 cheaper. You could get the Nano 3 on the Happy Model Mobile 6. So, yeah, that's the better deal. $100, bind and fly. And I would go for the 19,000 kV. If you hop in there, you know, use one of my links down below, and then type in Mobile 6 and buy the 1900 kV. If you use my link, I get a cut. I appreciate that for the advice. But that's my my best drones for June 2022 right now. The best public sentiment, community approved, 5-star ratings on all of those, durability tested, tune tested, and the overall rating is super high on all those. And I stand behind all these, the drones that we talked about today. Really nice. Yeah, BLA, Rinko FPV asked the Mob 6 with SPI ELRS. You can get it with the, you could actually put the no antenna version, the flat antenna version on there, or you could use the ceramic tower one. Either one's fine. And they've been range tested by different channels, and they all go about the same distance. But ELRS is probably going to get you out there a little further than something like standard D8. D8 is not going to get you that far out. Yeah, D8 will fail safe behind trees and bushes and shrubs and things, and you'll lose your little tiny whoop in the bushes. So that's one thing to consider. If you need ELRS, get the Zorro ELRS version, and that's the one that Luis wants from me. I'm kind of holding hostage. If you want a really simple ELRS transmitter, you can get the Beta FPV Light Radio 3. The Light Radio 3 is also a really great choice for guys that don't want to mess around with firmware updates. And here it is. This is a Light Radio 3 Pro. $89. So if you're looking for a budget ELRS radio, get it in mode 2, and that one's nice. I got somebody with a freaking leaf blower on my front porch right now. Can you guys hear that? Whenever you do any live streaming or any internet stuff, like, you've always got some clown with a freaking grass cutter outside the window. Swear to God. But hey, I was looking at my grass and thinking it was kind of high, so I need you. I need you, bro. Thank you. He actually saw me through the window. But use my code down below. It's been in the ticker the whole time. Capital BGD, lowercase AVIS 2021. Get you 8% off of any of the Banggood orders. So that will save you a little bit of cash. Cash is tight right now, I know, for all of us. And that's a fun thing about our channel, is that I don't just fly the super expensive top shelf stuff. We dive into the trenches of the cheap, and I'm all about cheap fun. Even some of the toy drones, I'll fly them. I don't care. If it flies and it's fun and it actually works, 2 thumbs up. That's freaking awesome. Otherwise, like, it's garbage. And I'm going to let you know what's garbage on the channel. I don't have a biased opinion because I want you guys to have fun. If I'm not having fun, you're not having fun, right? People want me to review trash sometimes. They're like, you never reviewed the crappy drones. You know what I do with the crappy drones? I throw them in the trash can. I actually do. I've thrown some of them in the trash can. Some of them they send me just don't work. Okay. Years ago, I used to take them apart and put them in the parts bin, keep everything. I don't have time to do that now. I just have to toss it or give it away. Sometimes I put it on the street as well. I just throw it out on the street, and they disappear within a few minutes. But I hate to push a problem onto somebody else. It's better off sometimes in the trash. I swear to God. I should let you know which ones I throw in the street. Which ones go in the trash. They're not all good. And they most definitely do not make my top 5 list unless they're primo. Absolutely. Yeah, in the bin, in the trash bin. For sure. It's just about lunchtime here on the West Coast. If you guys have any Q&A, we'll take a final few minutes here on this stream and we'll do some Q&A. T-Hammer asks, mentioned Crossfire, an older race drone, need a transmitter and receiver. Yeah, you're welcome, William. Cetus Pro. Cetus Pro is another one that's pretty good. Let's check out the Cetus Pro. We have a lot of new people hopping into FPV that subscribe to my channel, so got to give that info out to those guys. There's the 1S version here with the Light Radio 2 SE, and this transmitter can bind to other drones, so that's cool. And this one's $226, a little more expensive than like the Tiny Hawk series, but it was one of the best beginner drones. Also, another top favorite, probably my all-time favorite, guys, right now, is still, after over a year, since 2021. This was 2021's best drone. The Geprc TinyGo 4K version, $316. Seems like a lot, but this little dude will record 4K, and it's 2S. So, as a beginner, when you start out with 1S, I got to tell you something. You're going to have a timeline that's going to creep along as you get better and you get to be more of an advanced pilot. Eventually, you're just going to want some more performance out of a drone. You're going to want to boost more. You want to go faster. You want to do freestyle. The little TinyGo will do mild freestyle way better, and it'll even power loop. This little guy will power loop. The TinyGo is still one of my top picks. It's still in stock. Some people gave it a lesser review, but 4.7 stars out of 5. Over a year later, that's still really good. So high sentiment on that one. All my analysis of the parts and everything, even Bardwell recommended this one in his video. Really top shelf Geprc components. And that's the thing about Gep. If you buy a Gep quad, you're getting top shelf stuff that works out of the box. Great tune, nice motors, flight time. And what's crazy about Geprc is, you know, for years, I've done these bind and flies from Geprc, and I get that box in. It's been the same graphics on the outside of the box, Geprc. It's a black box that you get, and you take the plastic off of it, and you open it up. You take the drone out, you bind it up to your transmitter, you literally test fly it right in the living room, and it flies fine every single freaking time. I don't know what the deal is with them. And they've always used their own components. They've always made their own video transmitters. They've always included their own power systems on there. And they've always included their own props, their own frames. They do it all. All the stuff on the drone, they've manufactured under their brand name. That's actually pretty impressive. when they use their own motors on the frame. I don't think I've ever seen another company's motors on a Geprc drone, and their motors are good. The motors are nice. I don't have any performance issues with Gep motors. Really nice that they do it all. And the TinyGo 1.6 inch 2S. So that fits in the palm of your hand, and it's running 2S. And I got rid of mine last year, and I wish I still had it, because I do a follow-up review, because this drone, it deserves to be in this top list in 2022. It's still relevant, and if it's still in stock, I would grab one. I mean, and this is the battery to get with it. This is a 2-pack. You'll need that. You need 2 of them. You can run it 1S or 2S. $21 for a 2-pack. 1S 530 milliamp. That's what's up. TinyHawk still, or TinyGo still relevant. TinyHawk, eh. TinyHawk 3 was nice, but it's pretty expensive. Much better transmitter on the TinyHawk 3. I hated that old one. This one feels more like a mid-sized transmitter. Proper sticks, and we talked about that. It's got a removable monitor, but this one doesn't have an onboard DVR. So at the $300 price point, you're getting a 4K DVR. Really nice video, and it flies better. And this one's only 1S, so you can't fly this one on 2S. There might be some dudes that are doing that, but it also has a little bit lower sentiment in the community at 4.5 stars. 48 reviews on this drone. And there's my review. You can go check that one out. And I said best beginner drone ? Is it the best beginner drone? Sometimes I question. But up against the TinyGo, it's not. Because the TinyGo, you get all the bells and whistles on this one. The only thing you're missing on this one's like GPS return home. I wish they would do an RTF about that size with GPS. It'd be super cool. Little miniature GPS return home FPV Tiny Whoop 2S. That's my wish for third quarter, fourth quarter in 2022. So we're gonna go ahead and check back through the chat real quick, and we're gonna close up this stream here soon, because hopefully this stream did a lot better. You didn't have any problems with the sound in this one. You could hear everything perfectly, and there was no video noise over top of my voiceover. T-Hammer, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that transmitter would work with your Crossfire FPV racing drone unless you have a module, a TBS Crossfire module for that radio. Then it will work. You can do that. You can plop it back in the back. If it's a micro module, if you're talking about the Zorro, it does have a micro module bay. You can run Crossfire Micro on there, but you can't run the full size. If you want a full size, if you have a full size Crossfire module, then you need the Radiomaster TX12, which has a full size JR module bay in the back. So hopefully that answers your question. The Zorro has a micro module bay. So if you look at the very back of that radio, boom, you see that big spot right there? That's where your Crossfire goes. And on the Zorro, it has a smaller one. So 2 different types of module bays, small and big, micro and standard. So if you look on the back of this one, it has that little clip plate right back there. And you can also get it with a TBS Crossfire Nano module built into it. CC2500 version with TBS Crossfire Nano. Pretty sweet. ILRS or JP 4-in-1. Or I would suggest getting the 4-in-1 with a TBS Crossfire Nano module in it. That was $186, but that's the last radio you would ever need. Super nice. Yeah, man. check out the links in the video description if you're thinking about getting something new in the next month or 6 months. This list is going to be good for quite a while. So I have stuff that I mentioned today that over 12 months later is still relevant and still some of my top 5 picks. I can't even have a top 5 picks because I think I need to have a top 10. And include, I mean, it's even some of the stuff from 2021 still relevant. It's crazy. And, you know, manufacturing in 2022 has took a dip too. So we're not seeing a ton of new releases. And money's tight right now. So I want you guys to get the right stuff the first time. And it should last you. Dan Drone Maniacs, he says that everyone's first drone should be a simulator. He's right. Start out with a simulator. I flew a simulator for about a month before I started, and I was a much better pilot because of it. RC helicopters, same deal. And in the bottom of this stream, to let you know, we have the best RC helicopters as well for 2022. We've got some more RC helicopter reviews coming up. I had a ton of fun with the OMP Hobby M2, the Eachine 180, the eSky 300 V2, and new ones coming up. We got a Black Hawk coming out from Eachine that's going to be freaking cool. It's about a $500 200 size copter. It's called the E200, but it's a brushless motor on that one. It has floor blades, collective pitch, and that one can 3D. A scale helicopter that you can do full 3D with that looks like a Black Hawk. That's freaking crazy. I wouldn't try to 3D a scale helicopter because I'm afraid I'd break one little light off the side of the frame. I want my scale helis to remain perfect, so I kind of fly them like a real helicopter. I'm very careful with them. And we also have another kind of military inspired one. It's that little tiny spy helicopter, and it's fly barless. It looks super cool. It's called the E110. If you look that up on Banggood's website, that one looks super cool. And I think that one's under $100. You guys have seen that on the news. The U.S. military has the real version of these that cost probably $1 million a piece. But now you can get one for $79. $79 with a little FPV camera on the front of it. It's crazy. It's got a little Wi-Fi camera on there. I don't even care a thing about the camera on there. I just hope they send me a couple batteries with this little copter. This one looks super fun. 720p, automatic focus, 15-minute flight time, 120. It says 120 meters, and then it says, in parentheses, it says miles. I talked about that in the last stream. That's funny. Maybe the real version goes 120 miles, but not the RC plastic version for 79 bucks. Nothing we have flies 120 miles. We might be able to build something that could fly 120 miles if I had the right components. Yeah, we could do that. But that's against the law. You have to have a special license to do that. Yeah, the one that looks like Airwolf, got to show you this before I take off. eSky 300. eSky 300 V2. Check it out. V2 Mini. Boom. That was a super fun little heli. Super streamlined from the front. I jokingly said it should be so quiet it should be used for the military. That was the title of our review. And look at that from the front. I put a DJI CAT-X camera on there, and it miserably failed at lifting a CAT-X. Maybe if you decased it, you could do it, but I really wanted to FPV this drone. You get a little analog all-in-one AIO, 25 milliwatt transmitter, and it would work. But you kind of have to hand launch it, which can be kind of scary. But everyone seemed to like that one. eSky's been doing helis, RTF helis for, oh my god, the Honeybee, like 15 years ago. eSky's been around a long time. They quietly make things for Horizon Hobby in the background as well. They're responsible for making the what's the Hobby Zone Aero Scout, They're the producers of that in China. So they just slap a label on it, Aero Scout. And Horizon Hobby sells thousands of those planes. They're some of the favorites for the last couple years of the AMA fields. Yeah, it's going to be a fun review. I hope that that little heli comes in soon. I'm super bullish on this one. I think this one's cool. eSky 300, super fun once you break that out and fly it again. And the E110 coming down the pipe soon. Hopefully it's in my mailbox. Super excited about that. The E200, gotta show you that real quick too. I love helis. I'm sorry. I just keep going on about helis. And these are some of the best ones right now. Buy and fly at $399, RTS around $429. It looks like they dropped the price. I think it was up around $500 when I first looked at it. Oh my God, this one's gonna be super cool. This is the one that will do 3D though. This one has full collective pitch. It has idle up on it, which means it will 3D. So this guy right here, he is going to fly the crap out of this little heli. So look how cool it looks. A friend of mine used to work on Blackhawks. He was a small guy, so they used to put him up inside the smallest parts of the cockpit to fix things. That little copter looks cool. And he goes into idle up in this video, and he goes full on 3D mode with a scale heli. And that scares me, man, because I want my little heli to stay in one piece. I hate to break a scale helicopter. Yeah, Dragon Link's okay, Luis, but yeah, I go TBS Crossfire. Do you have Dragon Link, Luis? Look at that. There goes full 3D. My God. 3D with a scale heli. That's pretty good performance for a scale heli. They're not usually built to do that. He's even doing inverted reverse hurricane, a funnel. It's crazy. I mean, full on pyro flips. Just got some aileron flips, some TikToks. Really nice. Looks like a nice smooth heli. I'm excited about that one. That one's hopefully going to be here soon. Shipped from Banggood last week. Shipping's pretty slow right now for some reason. Johnny D says he'd like to get an OMP M2. That M2, if you're a good heli pilot, you're experienced, that one's a good one. If you're a beginner, I dialed the rates way down on that heli because it's fast. You'll lose it and smash it, but it's pretty light, so you're not likely to break it. It's a lot heavier than the eSky 300 or that little Ishin E110. But this has been a ton of fun, guys. We're going to go ahead and say goodbye for now. And I appreciate all your support and your tips on the live streams. We're getting better, guys. We have some nice stuff coming up for review. But our live streams keep leveling up and leveling up. So hopefully we get more organized. I'm paying for software now, and we're just going to upgrade everything. The mics are up next. We're going to keep upgrading those as well. Absolutely. And don't forget to subscribe because you're going to get in on that DJI giveaway. So I appreciate you guys. It's almost noon now and it's time for me to go to lunch. I'm going to go check out a food truck or something. So Luis, hit me up, bro. If you're in the area, let's do lunch. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I appreciate you. 5 stars. Peace out, guys. Check out the links down below. It benefits the channel. and helps us keep the lights on. So keep us in mind, and I will keep the awesome reviews coming to you, and the honest reviews, and feedback on the parts, the analysis of each product, the public sentiment, the test durability, the tuning, and the overall rating of all the newest products coming out in RC, airplanes, helis, drones, RC cars, all the cool stuff and all the fun stuff right here. So see what's new, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.